Hey guys, welcome back to Lenin and Christina's Adventures. We're here with our awesome 2002 Coachman Cross Country motorhome. And yeah, it's a 2002. It's a little older unit, but you do save a lot of money when you go used. Today's project that we have is we have a coolant leak. And we developed a coolant leak about a month and a half ago. We went to Pismo. And briefly, my wife's going to come into the picture really quick. She has been helping me set things up because I am fresh out of surgery. And I limited on what I can do. It's been about 3 weeks, but long story short, that's my wife, Christina.
Hi, guys.
So sorry, she's doing housework.
I wasn't planning to be on camera right now.
So yeah, she's going to get back to what she's doing. But yeah, that's my wife right here, Christina. Anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, so we were at Pismo, and on the way there, we pulled off the off-ramp, developed a coolant leak, and I have no idea where it came from. We had no issues with it overheating or anything. Temperature stayed constant. So to get to the matter at hand, before we do any other trips, I got to find out where that coolant leak is at. What I did is I went to Harbor Freight, and no way am I endorsed by them, but I bought this cool, awesome radiator pressure test kit, and it was $89. I could have bought one, or I could have, rented one from any of the local auto parts stores, like O'Reilly's, AutoZone, for free. You just pay the deposit. But in all the reality, I'd rather have my own test kit, so if we do have a longer trip, and God forbid we develop an issue with the cooling system, even though a lot of the stuff has been replaced, the water pump and everything else, you have it handy. And you don't have to pay these expensive shops that charge ridiculous amount to diagnose these things. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and see what's included in it. Well, you guys kind of see. It's got the pressure pump, and it's got different radiator caps. And what it primarily does is it hooks up to your radiator or the reservoir, and it pressurizes it, or you pressurize it. Usually these things run, not all of them are the same, but max 15 pounds per square inch or 15 psi. And by pressurizing it, it should allow me to see where the leak is or hear where the leak is. So I'll take you guys on the process of pressure testing it. So yeah, that's what we have going on for today. And hopefully it's nothing big. It might be the overflow bottle that it just burped itself, but we'll see. So yeah. All right, we're in the back of our Class A diesel pusher. So right now what I'm going to do is open up the access to the radiator, because you also have your fill port for the coolant. And these things are not always the easiest. You have to, well, for you guys that are RVers, you guys know. Sometimes these can be stiff because you rarely open them that much. This comes out, and this gets pressed out like that. So this opens up all the way. Luckily, it's not too difficult. So I'm going to bring the camera a little closer in a minute. But here is your rear radiator, and you're going to have your hydraulic fluid reservoir there. And I'll show you guys right now. I'm just grab the phone or the camera. All right, so what we're gonna do now is pretty much unscrew the radiator, not the radiator, but the coolant reservoir cap. And just remember, if you have any pets or anything, be very careful if you spill any coolant, because it's sweet to them. And it can, from my understanding, not a vet, or doctor, but from my understanding, it can cause some, organ failures if they ingest this. And like I said, they didn't make these things fun at all. In fact, there's there's a shroud right there. I should have probably taken off. So this is the radiator cap I'm taking off. Bringing out the tester. Trying to find the equivalent of the cap. So you got these fittings there. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but you got these fittings or these caps. They have a little nipple piece where the tester inserts, and then that's where you pressurize it. So the fun part is trying to find the appropriate size one. Hopefully I'll be able to find it. It's a trial. It's a guessing game. So the cap actually should be labeled to what size it is. And I think it does. It's RS6. So I'm not sure if that's what that means, that it's a 6 size cap. And according to this, I think they might have actually even put the wrong cap, because 13 pounds is probably at the maximum pressure it allows you to. So let's find out. No, too small, of course. It's always a fun part trying to guess what size cap, and I might not even actually have the correct cap for this, to be honest, which is not gonna make it fun. No, this is a twist. It's not a screw on, it's a twist. Yeah, I'm gonna pause for right now until I find a correct cap. All right, so as I was saying, not all systems are created equal, and I'll show you what I mean. Zoom out, and you guys are gonna see what I'm talking about. So this is the, as you saw, the radiator test kit. It doesn't have the cap size that I need, but it does have these cool adapters that you guys can see, which essentially is these plungers that go into the cap area or inside of the radiator cap area. And you put this adapter, it has these cool little teeth right here that latch on, and then you can always just tighten it a little bit. Remember, it's only 15 psi max, so it doesn't take much to get these things to leak. It's just slight pressure, and if it is under a lot of pressure, it's because then you have a whole lot of other issues. So let me get this set up and go from there. All right, so you got, as you can see, you got the setup right here I have with the pump, and I'm pressuring it slowly, and I think I see the problem, because these coolant bottles are always circulating where they get hot, cold, and as you all know, as plastic ages, it becomes brittle, and I see the problem, and I'll show you what I found. It looks like it's cracked all along right here. Not enough to leak when it's sitting still, but the moment it expands with either heat or a little bit of just pressure, because you are going to have a little bit of pressure when the engine's running. It's a given. So what I used to right now verify whether it was leaking or not, you can use soapy water in a squirt bottle, or in my case, because I work in aviation type of deal, I have this Sherlock oxygen leak detector, and this is what we use when we are trying to find an oxygen leak, because you don't want to use anything oily. So they have something called Sherlock, which bubbles up the moment it makes contact. So I'll show you guys what I did. So at the moment, I'm going to pressurize it a little bit. It's not holding much pressure at all. So I'm going to squirt that area. There we go. I'm not sure if you guys can see where it's bubbling up. Yeah, you guys can see it right there. You'll get the same result with the Sherlock leak detector, but I mean, not with Sherlock leak detector, my apologies, with soap and water. Just mix it up really well and then Could be in a little squirt bottle. Nothing, doesn't have to be anything fancy. So my suspicions right now, when I pressurize it, sure enough, it's definitely leaking from there because I have a cracked coolant bottle, and that's with very, very little pressure. Anyway, the next video will be the fun part. It's not that difficult, but replacing it. All right, guys, that's it for now. And yeah, I'll take you guys for a quick tour of the inside too. The engine on this one, people don't like, technicians out there charge so much or shops do, because they don't like working on these things, because oh my god, it is so supposedly it's very difficult to do anything on these engines. And in my honest opinion, it's not that bad. When you're in the once you raise up the bed, you can literally just climb in there, and for the most part everything's accessible. Would it be cool to have the radiator mounted on the side? Yes, it would, but it's not overly a bad thing. The Caterpillars are not bad engines as well, but I like the Cummins because parts are not as expensive, and they're relatively cheaper than Caterpillar, hence why they're painted gold. Because, well, not an actual fact or anything like that, but in my opinion, they're painted gold because they cost so much. But yeah, you guys see, I'll pump it one more time so you guys can see it. The crack is all, let me zoom in right here. There we go. The crack is all along right there. I didn't think it was a crack, but it is. I'll do it one more time so you guys can see. Pump this sucker up a little bit. Look at that, just without even pumping it too much. Shake the bottle. Boom. So, time to replace it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll take you guys for a tour of the motorhome in a little bit. Bye. All right, so this is going to be a tour of the inside of our 2002 Coachman Cross Country motorhome, and then I know you guys are going to be wondering how much did we pay for this thing. We paid $34,000 for a diesel pusher. I guess back in its day, this was considered an entry level. But yeah, I'll show you guys the inside. We're going to be doing some upgrades to it eventually. But this is the inside right here. Here is your driver's side area. And over here, you guys are going to see the slide out, which is a pretty good size slide out. Right now it's a little dirty because we've been using it, and you'll see the engine bay right now. She's a good coach. Hasn't left us stranded yet. It's got a washer and dryer. It's got those retro colors of, I don't want to put myself in it, but in the shot, but it's got the washer and dryer combo, which if you have kids and you're camping for a little bit, it comes in handy. And there is the engine, 5.9 Cummins. Hopefully that coolant bottle has the part number so I can actually get that ordered right away. But yeah, this is 5.9 Cummins. A lot of people ask, is it really noisy in the bedroom when it's running? And the answer to that is no. It's not, as far as our pain. And there is your air filter there. This thing right here is your air filter. It's a pretty straightforward and simple engine. There's no emissions on this. This is a 2002, and it's not a truck, so it falls under a different category. And of course, in California, they pretty much, regulate vehicles to death, which I understand saving the environment and everything, but come on, California takes it to a whole different level. So there is the coolant bottle, and as you guys saw from the earlier video of the leak, which, like I said, I gotta order the coolant bottle. And as we pan out, I'll show you how thick the insulation is between the bed and the engine itself. So it's pretty thick, and it's pretty well insulated, so it doesn't, the noises don't bother you while it's running. You gotta love the sound of those Cummins engines. But yeah, that's the inside of a rig. As you can tell, there's the bed right now as it's elevated. And there's a shower, which I don't know what they were thinking back then with those gold colors. And eventually all this is going to get remodeled. It's going to get painted like shabby chic style. And there's our TV. We do have satellite TV on board, which is a nice feature to have. I know Christina initially was, why did you get satellite? And I'm like, why not? And now she likes it when we go camping. She watches music videos from MTV or just anything as background noise, or we'll watch a nice movie. And we also have an outside projector so we can watch movies when it's warm outside. And yeah, so the bays aren't passed through. And at first I was wondering, I'm like, you know what? I want to pass through storage, but it keeps you from carrying a lot of junk. Our fifth wheel that we used to have, man, I took out so much junk out of it. There's our dogs right there. We have a little pen for them. But I'll show you the bays. You always want to keep your tires covered too. These tires aren't cheap for these motorhomes. They're about $3,000 for 6. But I'll show you what I mean by not having any pass-through storage. Yeah, she's dirty because remember I got injured, and I can't do much as far as messing around with the pressure washer. And of course it's dirty because from our last trip. But here is one of the bays. It is not pass-through, and I didn't like that initially, but now I do, because like I said, I don't get to store that much crap. I only carry what I need. Before we were carrying a lot of things for other people as well, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. And the tires that I got for this, they say it comes with Michelin's, but the ones that I had were Michelin's. They were overpriced in my opinion. I went with the comparable Toyo, and don't notice the difference. It runs really well. The thing about also these 5.9 Cummins on these motorhomes, yeah, they're not as fast. They're not going to get you up the hill like a race car or anything. But what it makes up in differences with not having that rabbit speed going up the hills makes up the difference in fuel mileage. With this, I would say I'm averaging approximately 12 miles per gallon. And on something this big, it's 35 feet. So that's the other thing too. Something this big, it's excellent. We have a 90-gallon fuel tank. And it still has a modern look. It's got a Ford generator, I think 7,500 watt Onan. We're happy with it. Remember, when you're going somewhere, it's not about how fast you're going. It's, are you enjoying the trip? Because once you get up to highway speeds and you're cruising on primarily flat level ground, or even a hill here and there, it cruises at about 65, no problem. It's more of steep incline hills where you are going to slow down. Anyway, guys, that's our tour of our 2002 Coachman Cross Country Elite motorhome. And like I said, it's better than buying $100,000+. For the people that can afford it, great. But for the people that are looking for something that you're not going to mind putting a dent or a scratch in it here and there, this works. And there is a shop, or I'm going to talk to them, but there is a shop back east that sells salvage parts for motorhomes. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the quick tour. Time to get the part number for the coolant bottle so I can get that ordered, and then I'll do a video of doing a repair on that. I might not be doing it myself. I might have a shop do it because, like I said, of my recent surgery, and I don't even want to try it. Depending on how I feel, I might, with the help of my wife. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you.